Sagittarius, welcome to your reading. Sorry I wasn't actually able to post in the month of January, but what's going to happen is that you'll just get this reading, and then later on in the month you'll get another reading. So I'm just going to go ahead and get that out there on the table. I do apologize, but you know, life has been crazy, so here we are. Anyways, I hope you resonate with this message, and please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you feel called to donate in any way, those links are down below. And if you want to join us over on the Patreon version of this reading, then you can find that link down below as well. Anyways, we're going to go and get started. All right, Sagittarius, hope you've been well. Kind of like, I mean, y'all can't see it, but I like rearranged my room, my office, studio, since my last batch of recordings or readings. And because I don't just do these, I do personal readings as well. So now I can actually put my camera around my desk because I took out the filing cabinet that was right there. So I like that I can actually, like, you can see this version of me like shuffling, and it's just a little bit different. It's nice. It's not too different, but for me, like, I'm a photographer by trade, so I'm just an artist in general. So I just like pay attention to perspective a lot more, I guess, than most people. But perspective is everything, right? All right, these are like 3 of them flipped over, so I'm not gonna take those. Let's shuffle. Oh wow, that one flew out, so I'm hearing yes to taking it. Yay, I love this card. Weird is the new cool. This is all about just like owning who you are, being okay with like how you want to uniquely express yourself and doing it boldly express your uniqueness right there. So it's interesting because I hadn't even read that yet, but that's immediately what you get off this card. And it's because the blue is the throat chakra. This is like red, which is root chakra. So really feeling secure within the way that you communicate and you express yourself, and just like really surrendering to this like divine flow within yourself, like how you want to, you know, manifest in this world. And that's by honoring just everything that you are and also everything that you're not at the same time. So let's read this, Sagittarius. All right. Oh, wrong book. All right. Weird is the new cool. I've always enjoyed this card. It reminds you that like there's beauty in differences. There's beauty in people like having different perspectives on life and different, you know what I mean? Like if you choose to see the beauty in everything, then how could anything ever be wrong outside of like things that are absolutely immorally or morally incorrect? You know what I mean? Like there's things are black and white, you know what I mean? Like whatever, you know what I'm saying? It says you've had a golden experience, one which seems impossible to describe, yet be reminded of the biblical phrase, to the one in whom much has been given, much is expected. It is your sacred duty to find the words, or at least the symbols, and courage to express them to your tribe and to the parts of yourself that didn't go on this adventure. If you are called strange or odd behind your back, then so be it. Weird is a mantle to wear proudly, because in being true to yourself, you might inspire someone else to be more of themselves. When you peer outside the confines of the ordinary world, you encourage others to recognize there is joy in being themselves. The word weird comes from the Old English word weird, which means fate, chance, fortune, destiny, and one who stands in both worlds. Be emboldened to be your weird self, for it is the weird ones who bring forward noteworthy contributions. And I did notice, as like a side note here, I did notice like purple, of course, throughout this card, and that's like an intuitive color. Like that's the color of like your third eye chakra. And so that's all your intuition base, your psychic abilities. And so being able to, for me, this is like being able to stand in the physical world, which is the red right here, right? Because that kind of represents your root chakra, which is security, your home, your job, your career, very like 3D level stuff, right? And this blue and purple here are more ascended versions of consciousness. So they're more your intuition, your thoughts, the way you communicate, the intangible world, right? So also the divine feminine and the divine masculine are at play here. So like the balancing of all energies at play are what really like allow you to, you know, own who you are and express who you are, right? Like, and being able to be structured in your 3D reality, as well as tapped into your intuition and your psychic abilities. And what I mean by that is like, you know, being tapped into just like this channel of wisdom that you can tap into through your third eye chakra, through your sitting long enough, like through meditation, to access this channel of wisdom that we're able to all tap into, right? And so I feel like that's kind of also like with this card, that's what I've always felt with, because why I love abstract art is that you can take so many different meanings from it, right? Like, that's how I view it. And it's just such a very like strong energy here at play, but it's a very soft energy as well, like a controlled but surrendered energy, a duality of all elements, right? Like understanding how to flow with the universe, understanding that maybe your way of looking at the world is different from everyone else around you, but if it works for you, that's all that matters. And let them hold on to the belief systems that they want to hold on to and make peace with that, because you would want someone else to do the same for you, right? All right, it says, dream symbol, gold. Dreams of gold symbolize abundance, royalty, and wealth. Perhaps you've come to the completion of an internal alchemy process, by which you've raised a dense energy into a vibration which now can support you and your tribe in living with more spiritual and material affluence. Wow. Yeah, because like when you start really like understanding that everybody has intuition and we're given it in order to hear what spirit, higher consciousness, whatever you believe to be the access point of truth and knowledge, and like, you know, they call like sacred wisdom, all this stuff, like whatever you feel to be the key holder of that, like when you understand that you access that information through your own intuition, through your own mind, through your own subconscious, and you actually have a lot more power in this co-collaboration, or you have a lot more influence in this co-collaboration energetically than you realize. Like when you start really like practicing, or I guess like surrendering to these truths that have been, you know, at your disposal your entire life. It's just now that you're at the consciousness to where you're open enough to receive this information. The thing is that you're now able to really step into a new reality that you've never been able to do, because I think you're gaining a new awareness that you can live life by your own set of rules, and you don't need anyone else's approval in order to do that for yourself. You can be who you want to be, and still, like, you can be who you want to be personally, that weird version of yourself, but still be successful and still be proactive and lead a good life, and, you know, like honor yourself, but also like not like, I keep feeling like it's like you realize that you're not gonna like, by being who you are, you're only gaining, you're not losing anything. It might feel like through the filtration system of energies leaving, they, you know, like coming and going, because they either resonate with you still or they don't, or they align with you still or they don't. And you just can't help sometimes how the universe, how God, how the spirit works certain energies out of your life because they're misaligned now with where you are or where you're headed. You know, it's more of, you know, if you're like saddened by something leaving your life abruptly, like maybe in a little bit of, maybe in a few days, a week, a month, like you'll really see how the divine really kind of cut some dead weight out of your life in all actuality, right? And then also, like, I'm feeling off of this, like, always feeling like you have to, like, be a people pleaser in the way of, like, you feel like maybe in the past you felt like you couldn't, like, be you, be your weird self, like, your quirky self, because you were afraid that, like, people wouldn't accept you. Or maybe, like, a certain person in your past didn't accept you for your quirkiness, and so, therefore, like, it's been, like, I don't know, or, like, your beliefs are, like, you being weird or whatever it is. Like, maybe that was a word that was, like, used kind of against you before. And now you're coming to the realization that, like, you know what? Like, if I'm different from people, that's actually a good thing. Especially, like, here's the thing. Like, you only take advice from people that you would want to trade shoes with. Especially when it comes to whatever they're trying to give you advice on. So if someone's trying to give you advice on money, and they are horrible with it, I don't know if I would listen to that person. Like, you know what I mean? Or if they're like always broke, you know what I mean? Like, or if someone's trying to give you relationship advice, but you always find them in like really toxic, shitty relationships. Like, not saying that like even good relationships are going to have their issues, but I mean like toxic. Like, I don't mean like every once in a while you're fighting, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, you hit a rough patch. I mean, like, just straight bullshit. Like, that kind of stuff. Like, you know, you only take advice from people you want to trade shoes with. And I feel that has always served me very well in my past. Let me make sure the dog does not tear up anything. Are you behaving? What you got? You got your bone? Good girl. I'm just checking in on you because you can be crazy sometimes. Alright. Sorry, Sagittarius. I had to make sure my dog was not chewing up my couch because she's a 7-month-old lab and she has all the energy in the world. Alright, so your mantra associated with this card says, I validate my uniqueness as soul gold. As I share, the treasure is multiplied. And I love that this card was talking about how, you know, when you boldly and uniquely express yourself, whoever you have as a role, like whoever you are a role model towards, and you might not even realize who you're a role model towards. You might not even know it. But like, when you are uniquely yourself and you don't care what other people think, I don't mean like being rude and like brass and obnoxious and then expecting people to just be okay with it. I mean like just being like who you are, and that not like being like offensive and like rude towards anybody, just you just being yourself. Like when you show up like that in that authentic energy, it really shows and inspires other people to show up in their authenticity and to live a life that they love and they dream of, because you prove to them that it's possible to own who you are and to own your truths and to own the life that you want to live and the direction you want to go in, even if and when people don't understand. Because you don't need people to understand. You just need to understand. Because especially if you're being led by the divine, by God, by higher state of consciousness, you know, if you're like divinely guided and you're moving in a direction that not everyone is going to understand and get, well, that's because they're not aligned with where you're headed. And you just have to allow people to, you know, either get with it or, you know, gradually people just kind of fall out of our lives energetically in weird and odd ways. It's like, even if we don't willingly allow that to happen, it's like the universe always, like God, the energies at play all around you, they always like, it always works out to where you're like, I don't know, you're almost forced into doing it at some point. Especially if your ultimate goal in life is to be a better person, to live from a more conscious state of mind, to manifest a dreamlike reality. Sometimes you have to make hard decisions. Sometimes you have to, own the fact that not everyone is meant to stay, that maybe they were meant to be in your life at this point in your life, but as you're ascending and elevating and upgrading in your life, like, just certain people are meant to go and certain people are meant to stay, and you're meant to. The thing is that when energy that is not aligned with you anymore leaves your life, as painful as it is, you have to understand it is creating this like energetic vacuum to allow energy into your life that is more in alignment with you. So yes, while it's painful from a physical perspective to lose things we have invested time and energy into, we have to be open and willing to be able to embrace endings in order for beautiful, more aligned, more fulfilling beginnings to take place. You know what I mean? So weird is the new cool, like just embracing like who you are, what you want out of life, and the direction that you're headed, all of the above, like whatever career you're feeling called towards, whatever relationship, whatever, like if you just want to experience your life and people don't understand the reasonings behind why you're making certain decisions, well, that's okay. You're not meant to live life to where everyone else understands, because you're the only person that truly has to live out the circumstances of your own decisions, of the directions in life that you choose to go. Doesn't matter if anyone else cares or approves or whatever. You're the only one that has to live out your life. So fuck it. Like, not everyone does not always have the best, like, not everyone knows what's best for you. Like, sometimes you actually do know what's best, especially when you get into this heightened state of awareness about yourself. Then that's when you can really sit and look at someone and be like, like, I really appreciate like your concern, or I appreciate you being, wanting the best for me, but I promise you, after a lot of self-reflection and, just really spending time with myself and really getting to know me again, I know what's best for me, and I appreciate you loving me and wanting me to make the best decisions for myself so much, but you have to have faith in the fact that I am doing that. And sometimes other people just don't get it, and that's fine. But you have to live in your own truths. Nobody else does. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. It's crazy, y'all. Weird is the new cool, y'all. I mean, it's beautiful energy, but... All right, Sagittarius, I'm going to read this quote by Jack Kerouac, and then we're going to end this and go into our YouTube, or our Patreon version. It says, "The only people for me are the mad ones, the ones who are mad to live, mad to talk, mad to be saved, desirous of everything at the same time, the ones who never yawn or say a commonplace thing, but burn, burn, burn like fabulous yellow Roman candles exploding like spiders across the stars." I love that, because it's just like, like I said, sometimes energies have to leave in order for you to create space energetically for more aligned energies to come into your life. And maybe that's in the form of friendships, romantic partners, you know what I mean? Like maybe like reconnecting with a family member, like strengthening, you know what I mean? Like whatever that means to you, like you're cutting out stuff in your life that takes up energy, that no longer serves you, because it's you just pouring into situations that are toxic or one-sided or whatever, and you're realizing that. So now you retract your energy from that, and people are going to get pissed, people are going to get mad, like, why aren't you hanging out with me, or why aren't you spending time with me, or why aren't you da-da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, you know what? I'm doing what's best for me, and I need for you to get it, because at the end of the day, like, sometimes people are just energetic vampires. Situations are energetically depleting. Like, if it's not pouring back into you, if it's not a mutually beneficial, like, energetic transaction, then there's no reason for you to hold that kind of shit near and dear, because it's just depleting and it's toxic, and you can't manifest the reality of your dreams in that state of consciousness. That's that type of environment, that frequency, if you will. So we really have to just be mindful of the fact that, like, yeah, well, it's hard sometimes to, you know, release certain energies, or to, you know, not be so close to certain energies, or be so influenced by certain energies by, you know, retracting our energy. We just start realizing that, you know, we start feeling better. And then once we realize how much better we feel, we really don't want to let that feeling go. It kind of becomes harder to, it's kind of like you can't unsee what you've seen. You know what I mean? You can't unfeel what you felt, which is this sense of detachment from the things that don't serve you any longer. And it's like, it's a whole plethora of feelings that you experience when you make these conscious shifts in your life to release karmic baggage and release emotional baggage and toxic relationships, toxic situations, whatever. Like, there's pain that comes along with that for sure. Like, there's loss that maybe you'll feel, like confusion, you'll second guess yourself. But on the other side of all of that, once the dust settles, you'll see that you made space for something more energetically aligned. And who's to say that that shit, like, you know, you never know. Like, some things are just meant to be short term because you're going to continue to elevate in consciousness. So maybe that thing is still short term. Like, and that's the thing. Like, that's the only hard part when it comes to doing this whole energy healing, or really like exploring yourself, or like trying to understand yourself from a more ethereal perspective, like a more esoteric perspective. Just breaking down like who you are and consciousness, like all of these things, like it does come with, you know, sometimes it makes it harder to really relate with people, because then you're no longer at the surface level, and a lot of people are still stuck at surface level, and that might make it harder for you to really like accept certain energies in your life. But it also, like, everybody is a lesson, right? So even if it doesn't serve you long term, there's a mirroring energy to that situation. Even if you call in something that isn't meant to be in your life for forever, well, this is what teaches you how to release and let go, and allow, like, let the lesson come in and release it when it's time to let it go. And that's kind of that ultimate balance of surrendering and like understanding that not everything is meant long term and forever, and that's okay. It really is. Because, well, if you knew that every decision that you were made to make or led to make by the divine was leading you to a reality that made you feel even better than what you've been feeling, like if you always had that knowing, and every decision that you were led to make, every like ending that you were called to, you know, have, or, you know, I guess make happen, whatever, like if you knew on the other side of the ending was always a brand new, more beautiful beginning than what you've been experiencing, like, I don't know, like, I don't think you'd question as much in your life. I think you'd be more open to being like, okay, well, fuck it, like, cool, I'm really excited, like, I'm so grateful for this phase that I've been able to experience, but I am ready to close this door and to be, you know, like, just open to whatever's next. I think that's a really cool place to be, you know, just being divinely led and guided. That's where that third eye chakra, like really being able to like sit with yourself long enough when in a meditative state to really like calm your mind and break through these layers of your subconscious in order to get to this deep knowing, these infinite truths, this sacred wisdom, this channel of wisdom that everyone can tap into. Everyone. It's just collective consciousness. That's all it is. We can all do this, but we have to quieten our minds long enough. We have to be still long enough to be able to hear the messages, to feel what we need to feel, to see what we need to see in our intuitive mind. This is also where we manifest too, or where we manifest most quickly, is when we're able to it's called transcendental meditation, and you can manifest a life of your wildest dreams from this state of consciousness when you allow yourself and your energy to relax enough to match the frequency, that manifesting pretty much anything, attracting anything you want into your life. Like that's where that stuff really stays. It happens pretty quickly when you understand how to manifest through quantum law and understanding how energy influences the momentum, the speed at which something does come into your life. Pretty cool. Where is the new cool? All right, Sagittarius, we're going to end this reading here. If this message resonated, please like, share, and subscribe. Share with your friends. Share with your friends. And if you want to come over to the Patreon version with us, we're going to go into some deeper messages into the other decks here. Yeah, join us. The link is below. But if this is where we part ways, thanks for being patient again. I really appreciate it. And yeah, if you're heading over to Patreon, I'll see you there. Bye, Sagittarius.